You're watching Total Maine.
Hey, welcome back to Total Maine. For the final time in 2025, we're going in the arena with our expert panel, and on the podcast this week, you have a deep dive on the most recent Pan-Atlantic omnibus poll and some interesting data on key races, talking about the campaign for governor, Senate, and House seats. Pat, what is most interesting from you?
Well, anytime it's always instructive to us as reporters and people pay attention to these things. What's the most important issue on the minds of Mainers? It's all economic. As Bill Clinton used to say, it's the economy, stupid. That's what you focus on, because that's how people make their decisions based on their experience. If they can't afford to buy groceries or Christmas presents, they're going to talk about that. So it's not, that's, other issues are important, the social kinds of issues, but not as important as how do I live my life, what can I afford it. Second thing was, this is the first significant poll where we've seen Janet Mills ahead of Graham Plattner in the Democratic Senate primary. And, as Ethan has said, I think that seems like the logical place for her to be, up about 10 points at this point, given her track record of decades of being on the Maine political scene.
Yeah, and the gender gap was huge for her, the age gap was huge for her. I think those were significant pieces. This really is the first poll I've seen in which we kind of have a realistic picture of what I think this race looks like. It's not that Graham Plattner's getting crushed. He's very much in this race, and I think it's gonna be nip and tuck all the way, but it makes sense that Mills would be up by 10 points right about now, just with her track record, so that made some sense to me.
A race to watch in 2026 for sure. On to immigration here. Governor Mills announced last week in an op-ed that she will allow a bill to become law without her signature that limits police cooperation with ICE. Ethan, the legislature passed this over the summer, and supporters of the bill, while applauding her decision to allow this to become law, did express some disappointment that it took this long for the governor to act. What was her calculus, do you think, in making this choice?
I think what we were just talking about was the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. Look, it's great that she's finally allowing it to become law. It's incredibly disappointing how long it took. We are seeing governors from other states who are moderates, J.B. Pritzker, standing out there and saying we cannot allow ICE to do this. Had she signed this law back in July when she should have, it would already be in effect. Now we have to wait another 90 days after the legislature adjourns, so really not even going to go to effect for another summer. I'd like to see her do even more, sign some executive orders, get in place. These are Mainers who are being taken away from us, taken away from their kids, right in front of their schools. These are folks who are helping to build our homes, who are gardeners, who are working in our service sector, doctors. We just can't afford to lose these people from our communities. Finally, Mills has done something.
And Phil, House Republicans claim that this shows a reckless disregard for public safety. Those are their words, and puts the public at risk. Maine Chiefs of Police Association, they had looked for a veto here. Do you see this as a true safety threat?
Yeah, I do, because the Biden administration basically opened the border and let millions of people come in, many of whom have criminal backgrounds, heinous crimes. The Trump administration has located 60,000 missing children who are being exploited or trafficked out of estimated 300,000. So yes, I do believe this is a threat to public safety, and I'm disappointed that the governor has taken us in that direction, because it's going to make it more difficult for people who are just implementing the law that's on the books in America that says if you're in our country here illegally, you must be deported, and if you want to come back in through the front door, which we'd love to have you, you got to do it the right way.
All right, there's more on the podcast with that issue. As we approach the end of 2025, I want to know from each of you what you think was the biggest political story of the year and what you think the next chapter looks like in 2026. Phil, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think the biggest political story was Governor Mills and President Trump in the White House, with Janet Mills basically saying, I'm going to follow the federal law and the state law. Well, you can't do both at this point. We're going to end up probably in the Supreme Court.
Ethan, what is it for you?
I think Graham Plattner really was the big political story, still is the big political story, coming out of nowhere, bringing forward a populist message that is really ringing true with a lot of Democrats in the state, with a lot of Mainers. So I think from 2025, we're going to remember that's going to be the biggest political story of the year.
And what does he do in 2026?
Oh, don't ask me that. But you know what? I think look.
Wait for more revelations.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I think Mills is the favorite in that race, but I think he's got a real shot. So I think he's going to keep that momentum going. We're going to see this kind of Bernie movement in Maine in a way that we haven't really seen since Bernie was on the ballot.
Pat, what stood out to you this year?
Well, those are both huge stories. Another big one was Jared Golden deciding not to seek re-election. He was doing all of the things you expect a candidate to do. He actually just recently passed a bill that got Republicans on board, showing he can work in a bipartisan way. So what the effect is to really put the 2nd District congressional seat in play.
All right, let's talk about something fun here to end the year. The new Pine Tree State poll from the University of New Hampshire. This one's on Christmas trees. They found that just 1 in 3 Maine households will have real Christmas trees this year. Reasons include less mess, already having one, trouble with pets, allergies. What do the 3 of you make of these results?
I'm all about the real thing. I mean, I'm Jewish, right? So who really knows? But, you know, my partner has a Christmas tree. We went and just bought it yesterday. So much fun. I kind of like it. I'm way into the real thing. Love the way it smells.
You keep it watered, everything like that?
Oh, yeah. Boy, does it drink
Sweep up
water
the
fast.
field.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we've gone to the artificial tree in our household.
Phil, I cannot believe it.
I know, but
You're an outdoors guy.
Wait.
Right.
There's now candles that have the smell of a pine tree. So now we've got the candle going.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm a traditionalist. It's the look and the smell and the process of getting the tree into your house. Sometimes it's a huge pain in the neck,
Sure.
but it's Christmas and it looks and smells right. So
You're a real Clark Griswold, aren't you?
You got all the lights outside?
I'm more of a Roger Griswold on that.
There
one, so-
you go.
Very good. Very
And by the end of the month, both of your trees, all the needles will be on the floor.
Yeah, that's what they make vacuum cleaners for.
Exactly. Thank
We've
you.
got a fake one in our house, too.
Yeah, thank you.
You put yours up in like November or something, though, didn't
We
you?
did. After Election Day, it's all fair game.
Well, you got little girls at home who demand that. That's
Yes.
it.
New episodes of In the Arena drop every Thursday. You can watch at our website, WMTW.com, YouTube, or take it along with you. Listen wherever you get your podcast.